We have some breaking news in the NHL. Some majorly important prospects have signed their entry-level contracts with the Buffalo Sabres and Columbus Blue Jackets. We'll discuss the details coming up next. Welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. As I mentioned, we have some pretty important breaking news from the NHL. A couple of teams have signed some big-time prospects to some entry-level contracts, thus ending their U.S. college careers. Of course, the University of Michigan was eliminated from the Frozen Four in their bid for a national championship yesterday, falling to Denver. This Michigan team was absolutely loaded with a lot of high-ranking NHL prospects, including several taken in the first round in the last couple of years, and they fell in the Frozen Four in the first game. They failed to get past Denver, so their season's over. They're now eligible to either sign or decide what their futures are, and we have a couple of big decisions, and the watch will remain here on several others, which we'll talk about here momentarily. Of course, the biggest one is the 2021 first overall pick, Owen Power. Of course, a big, strong defenseman who projects to be a star in the NHL, has officially signed his ELC with the Buffalo Sabres. Of course, he's put up 32 points in 33 games this year, had a real big role for Canada at the World Juniors. Of course, that tournament was cut short, wasn't completed, but still, we don't know if he'll go back when they do rejoin the tournament here in August or not, but he was having a heck of a tournament. Obviously a dominant player, obviously went to the Olympics, had a real solid showing there. This guy, even the year before played in the World Championships for Canada. Like, he's just so mature beyond his years. He should be able to step into the NHL. I think he'll be comfortable right away. Obviously, there will be an adjustment period for him like everybody else, but I don't think it's going to take long to see this guy really, have an impact and to really be comfortable. Like I said, it'll be their second defenseman on the roster, joining Rasmus Dahlin as taking first overall draft picks here. Obviously, Dahlin, is suspected to be a generational talent. It's kind of progressed, I think, a little slower than some would have thought, but Power should join him to make that decor that much stronger. It's going to be a real big, important piece of this Buffalo Sabres future. Of course, the other big signing here today is the Jackets actually signed two prospects. One was a high pick, and that's Kent Johnson, who was taken number 5 overall in the 2021 NHL draft. Of course, a very highly skilled forward, most likely going to be a center, but he might turn out to be a winger at the NHL level. Hard to say exactly where he'll slot in the Jackets lineup, but a very, very talented player for sure. Of course, he's another player who had a real solid year for the Michigan Wolverines, putting up 37 points in 32 games. Of course, represented Canada multiple facets like Owen Power did between the World Juniors, Olympics, etc. And this looked real solid and looked really ready, for the big time here. So Johnson projects to be a fairly big star and could have a major impact on the Columbus Blue Jackets here in the not too distant future. They're going to be joining their teams here in the very near future. I don't know exactly what day Power is scheduled to arrive with Buffalo, but Kent Johnson is expected to join the Jackets and officially be there first of the week on Monday. And the Jackets didn't stop there. They also are bringing one of his teammates in Michigan captain with them. They've signed Nick Blankenburg to a 1-year entry-level contract. Of course, he was a senior, so his time in college hockey has come to an end, but he was among the top-scoring defensemen in the NCAA, putting up 29 points in 38 games. Of course, as a senior, you kind of do expect him to be a little stronger, of course, being a little bit older and experienced, but he's described by Jarmo Kekalainen as being a real smart, competitive defenseman with great leadership skills. And of course, as we can see from his stats, he's also pretty capable on the offensive side of the puck. And this is a 1-year ELC because of his age. So obviously that will be burned immediately. So all these players have signed. They're not eligible for what they call an ELC slide because they're all considered to be either age 20 or older. And when that happens, the ELC can't slide. Now, when they are first drafted, when they're like 18 or 19, they have that option where you can play a small number of games and then still have the contract not officially kick in until the next year. That's not the case with these guys where they're just a little bit older. So they're all going to burn a year. It doesn't matter if they play or not. Same goes for Jake Sanderson, who just signed with Ottawa. I know there's a lot of talk among Sens fans about that, but that's just how things go based on age. So obviously Johnson and former captain Nick Blankenburg will be in Columbus together on Monday. Hard to say exactly when they'll make their NHL debut. Obviously they'll start practicing with the team, and the coaching staff will work them into the lineup and see how many games they're able to play here. But as we've talked about, This is also going to set off a watch now for several other prospects. Like I said, this is only the tip of the iceberg for some of the top players. They're arguably the top, probably two of the top 2 or 3 players on that team, especially as far as their draft status and, prospect ranking, etc. But this team also has Matty Beniers, who was a very high pick to the Seattle Kraken last year. Beniers had a real solid campaign, 43 points in 32 games. Obviously highly regarded as a real smart two-way center with highly, gifted offensive talents. I mean, it's pretty likely that he'll come out and sign with the Kraken. You've got Luke Hughes, of course, drafted real high last year by New Jersey. Put up 39 points in 41 games as a defenseman. So you got Luke Hughes, the third Hughes brother. I don't know what his future holds. Will he come out? You got Johnny Beecher, who's a former first-round pick of the Boston Bruins. He's been there for 3 full campaigns. He was drafted in 2019. His stats are not quite as impressive. He's got a lot of speed, but because of all his talent, he was never able to really play higher up in the lineup and really never put up a ton of points. So I'm not sure if he goes back for his senior year or if the Bruins get him under contract. You get Thomas Bordeleau out of San Jose pick, another real interesting, solid-looking prospect who was a point per game with Michigan this year, 37 and 37 for him this year. You get Brendan Brisson, prospect from the Vegas Golden Knights, who put up 42 points in 38 games. Vegas obviously doesn't have a ton of young talent, but of course Brisson is one of those players that they have not traded and will be in their system here. So I think amongst those 5, there's a pretty good chance we could see any or all of them. I don't know that, it's possible some go back, but it's possible as well that all 5 of them decide to make the jump to the NHL. And of course you also have the Michigan goalie, Erik Portillo, is also a Sabres pick, like Owen Power. So, of course, he hails from Sweden, has been playing with the University of Michigan, has looked real solid. Of course, the Sabres, between himself and, Devin Levi, who they picked up in the Sam Reinhart trade from Florida, had 2 of the top goalies in the NCAA, of course, between Portillo here in Michigan and, of course, Levi at Northeastern. So certainly some real interesting prospects. Of course, I would imagine where Michigan was only eliminated yesterday, that a lot of these players are making decisions, talking to their agents and teams, and trying to decide what their future holds. They don't necessarily have to, rush. Some of them might be a couple of days, might be a week. We might even get more news on this in the next couple of hours. It's really difficult to say, but I would think personally that like Hughes and Beniers are probably the most likely to make the jump. Maybe Brisson. I wouldn't be totally shocked if Beecher went back as a senior just because it gives him an opportunity to maybe play higher in the lineup for his last year. I'm not sure if it's better for him to do that or sign if the Bruins will have him and play in the American Hockey League. Thomas Bordeleau, I think, is probably 50-50. In the goalie, well, Portillo, I don't know. I'm not sure what the odds are for him. I would think that there's a good chance that he does sign, but we'll see where this goes. So obviously some big-time prospects officially under contract here. Some big building blocks for these teams at the Sabres and the Blue Jackets, with a bunch more of these guys possibly to come. So let me know your thoughts on the contracts that are signed. The other prospects, let me know which ones you think will sign, and we'll hopefully have some more news here on this front to talk about here in the very near future. So let me know your thoughts, and we'll discuss further in the comments. If you're new to this channel, make sure you subscribe and stick around. We will keep you up to date with all the latest news, rumors, and analysis for the entire NHL. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time.